I knew as soon as it came across my desk, I I knew it was a big story. I knew I had to handle it carefully, and I don't even know. I don't even know whether or not my intentions are as transparent as what I want them to be. But I knew it was a big story. I knew that things were going to happen talking about it. But at the same time, if it wasn't me talking about it, it was certainly going to be somebody else. And I honestly think I've helped Channel 10 dodge a bullet here, because had they started filming the show and this Nazi symbolism in the cartoon had come out later and the show had been shot, I think Channel 10 would be in a really, really difficult place. So whilst I would have still watched the show, and this is one thing we need to talk about, I think a lot of Australia would still watch it, even with that hectic post. I still think that, this is the right outcome for everybody. As you grow up, like, you do things that are not okay, and you have to learn from them, and people will step in and say, hang on a sec. And I really hope with this whole situation with Pete Evans that someone's gonna, this is gonna be an opportunity for him to take the corner, maybe do a U-turn and start thinking about things differently for his own sake.
Do you reckon it could also be possible that this could get some of the Channel 10 executives thinking differently about who they choose for their programs?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And, Leah, that's the first time I've had that. I've done a lot of interviews today. No, I hope they don't. And here's where it gets controversial. I don't totally agree with deplatforming. I think deplatforming is a form of, censorship, somebody controlling a particular narrative, someone believing that they want to stop information from getting to people. I think that belittles people. I think it's giving us not enough credit to understand that we can see things through our own eyes and make our own decision. And I think what's happening on television that's really missing is people who make mistakes, people who show light and dark to their personality, people who are flawed. I think we as a community, people in Australia, want to be reflected on the television. And I think we've gone too far into having nice. I think we want to be stimulated by good conversation. And I think the TV networks should still take a gamble. Chappelle was a great gamble. She's a criminal, but she was great television on SAS. And I think it was a nice redemption story.
People have also actually accused your show of somewhat being hypocrites. Obviously, TV Black Box, Ben, Rob and Robbo, it's one big family. Yeah. But Rob did say that he's, beginning to regret having Evans on the show. Do you believe that was the wrong decision to have him on? Or and would you still have had him on if the Nazi symbol was before the show, the interview with him aired, rather?
Well, I was the one that organised for Pete Evans to be on the show, on the Ben, Rob and Robbo show 2 months ago. I reached out to him and I really wanted to have that conversation. I was scared. This is the one thing that I probably have never said to anyone before, but these conspiracy theories, whilst I'm interested in interesting conversation, had started to really scare me. And I was scared. And I just was said to Rob McKnight one time after, in a post-production meeting, I said, we should talk about these QAnon people. We should talk about these anti-maskers. We should talk about these communities, these bubbles of people that are starting to rise to the surface. And let's give them an opportunity to explain it, because I don't know the answers. I don't know why they think these things. And then he said, who should we get? And I was like, wouldn't it be good if we got Pete Evans? And he said, well, Pete Evans is not going to do this show. It was fairly soon after he'd been paid a mozza for being on 60 Minutes. But that interview wasn't great. We didn't get what we needed to get out of Pete Evans that day, and he wasn't the right person to have on the show. And I would never have Pete Evans on a show again. And that has a lot to do with the information that's been given to me over the last 24 hours about how naive and ignorant I was about some of the things that he was suggesting.
There's been talk that you should remove the Evans content from your social pages. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think it is. It's not. We haven't had that conversation officially. There has been some talk about that offline. but not in the capacity of how we do make decisions on the show. So we make decisions as a team. There's 5 of us. And so while you might see Ben, Rob and Robbo on that show, there's the AA batteries. There's Amanda and Abby behind the scenes. So we make a collective decision on that kind of stuff. And I'm of the belief that I think we should take that episode down. I'm actually not proud of that interview. You know, I shouldn't say that. McKnight's always telling me not to say that sort of stuff, but I'm not proud of that interview. I don't think we got what we wanted.